Hello, my darling. We are back for another Clueless Mum. My name is Clueless Mum Mike. I'm in bed. This time I'm not in my pyjamas, thank goodness. But I am about to get ready to go to bed because, just in case you can't tell, I'm exhausted. It is the night before Zeke starts school. It's his very first day at school tomorrow. And my stress levels have been through the roof. I cannot tell you how difficult the last 2 weeks have been. Firstly, and we're just going to jump straight in because there's so much to unpack and I need your help massively. I'm going to have a sip of water because already my throat is dry because I know what's coming. So, has anyone else's child become like a demon in the past 2 weeks? Because my child has, and I don't know if it's a me thing or if it's a universal thing, but the levels of disrespect that my child has shown me in the past 2 weeks blows my mind. There has been so much, like, trying to think of an example. He'll say things like, "Get it now." And I'm like, "Excuse me? Who on earth do you think you're talking to?" And he'll things like, "I want it now." And he's been so angry and so emotional that I feel like I've lost my mind a little. I mean, I don't know if I was in full charge of my faculties pre-child, but I certainly think that now any string of faculty I had has gone, long gone. So please, first things first, I need help. Is this a me thing and a Zeke thing, or is this something that's happened to other people? Does children's behaviour change before they start school or before, I mean, I know before big events, like people talk about if you move house and before things, big changes, children's behaviour changes, but does it, I know he knows he's starting school, but I still don't think he understands exactly what that means. He still keeps asking me questions about what that means. Today it was, am I going to stay at school overnight? And I'm like, no. He was like, am I going to go to my old school tomorrow? No. And so I still don't think he's quite got his head around what's happening, which is fine. I'm happy to answer the questions, even though it's like Chinese water torture being asked the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But that's fine. But the thing that I'm struggling with is the defiance, the anger, the speaking to me like a piece of shit, and I don't want to get upset. It's so unbelievably hard. I feel like I am being pushed to my absolute limits. And I think I spoke last time about being like sleep deprived. He started waking up early. And I don't know how to navigate this situation because what's the best thing to do? Do you just ignore it? Like when your child is screaming at you that they want something, they want it now or whatever it may, do you just ignore it? Do you, I don't know, shout back? How do you discipline a 4-year-old without screwing them up? Because that's where I'm struggling. Because I will admit, hand on my heart, these last 2 weeks, I have really questioned, whether I'm cut out for parenting. Because I feel like I am failing miserably on the parenting front. Because my son is just so angry all the time, and I'm hoping it's just the transition into school, and things will kind of level out. But I mean, the thought, I'm just thinking to myself, what if they don't? What if, like, this is it forever? Like, my beautiful, lovely angel boy, he's never going to be the same and he's gone. Like, that's it. And I'm just going to have, like, who's the program? Horrid Henry. I don't want Horrid Henry for a child. So please, please, if possible, can you give me advice about what to do, first of all? How do you discipline a 4-year-old? And is this a disciplinary thing? I know that's not a word, but is this like a thing to discipline? Or is it just like, I can't even string a sentence together. Whew, this is really emotional. I get really, you lose your confidence, I think, as a parent when things are really tough. And when he has these meltdowns, especially in public, it feels like all eyes are on you and everything you're doing wrong. So I try and gentle parent as best as I can. And then kind of when that doesn't work, I will then try and be a bit more firm and forceful. So for example, if he is on the floor and he needs to move, I'll try gentle parenting, being like, let's go over here or whatever it may be. And then if he doesn't listen, I'll be like, I'm going to come and move you because you need to move out the way. And then if he doesn't listen again, then I'll go and take him and he'll kick and scream, but I'll just try and keep calm. But you're just like, everyone around me is like, is just looking at me being like, I wouldn't do it like that. Oh, I'd go mad if my child spoke to me like that. And, you just think like, am I too soft? I don't want to be too hard. And I know disciplining children is different and people have different views, each to their own. I, I don't think that like harsh discipline is the right way to go, especially not for my child. I don't think that would do him any favors. He's quite sensitive, and people go, oh, he needs to toughen up. Got to got to toughen your kids up. No, I don't think you do. I really don't. I think the world does that for you. I think if you teach children how to communicate and how to understand the range of emotions that toddlers have, they then become able to cope much better with life's ups and downs. I don't think I don't believe in the whole life is tough. I'm going to be tough. I'm going to toughen you up. You need to have thick skin. You need to do this. Da, da, da. That's not the way that I envision my parenting. I'm a bit more like, I'm going to give you the tools to try and cope with anything life can throw at you. And ultimately, if it's too much, come to me. I'm a great problem solver. Together, we can solve any problem. There's nothing we can't solve together through love, light, communication, blah, blah, blah. So I definitely am softer in terms of parenting and disciplining. But, when you think, is that even the right way to go? Because what if you just think, what if I'm building a rod for my own back? What if he turns into a Horrid Henry and I have that little shit of a child that just everyone's like, ugh? I'm praying not. I'm saying these words and in my gut I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. Just continue moving forward, being like, showing him lots of love, because he keeps asking me. He'll do something and then he'll say, do you still love me? And he'll keep asking, do you still love me? So I feel like I'm hoping that he just feels, I don't hope he feels unsafe. I'm hoping, I need to get my words out properly. Okay. I think he feels unsafe because he knows that this big change is happening and he doesn't quite understand it and can't process it. So I think he feels quite unsafe. And so he's acting out and pushing boundaries to confirm his safety in our household. And so today he spilt a drink and he looked at me and he started crying and he said, do you still love me? And yes. And he keeps saying like he'll do something wrong And then he'll say, "Do you still love me?" and things like that. And so I'm constantly having to reassure him that yes, I still love him. And then even in times when he's not crying, in times when it's completely neutral, I'll try and then have a conversation with him and explain to him there's nothing he could ever do or say that would make me not love him, and try and have reinforce that conversation outside of an emotional experience. So he'll have the emotional experience of that, yes, I still love you, cry, 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 hug, 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 done, move forward. But then like this morning, we were brushing our teeth and I was like, I love you so much and there's nothing you could ever do that would make me, and so I try and reinforce it. And then this evening also as well, it was a really trying time for me because he smashed the iPad and he knew instantly that he'd screwed up. Instantly he knew. And his face, he was white as a sheet, bless him. He was so pale. And instantly he just looked at me wide-eyed and was like, sorry. And I was like, holy moly. The day before school starts, the iPad, which is something that I use for work, sometimes, he'll use it. We share the iPad, but it's a real daily used. I don't have a TV in my bedroom, so I'll sit and if I want to watch a movie, I'll put it on my iPad. It's used daily. And he smashed it. And I was ready to blow my top. I think as you would be in that situation, smashed an iPad. But I managed. I'm really proud of myself for one thing today. I managed to keep my cool. And he said to me, "Do you still love me?" And I was like, "Yes." He was like, "It was an accident." I said, "No, it was an accident. Can you fix it? We can fix it." And I didn't blow my lid. I didn't erupt in rage. Managed to keep my cool and just remind myself that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, the day before we start school, and he smashed the iPad, and I was like, the Lord in heaven is testing me right now. Darlings, we're going to take a little interlude while I remind you that my app, Kidfluence, is available to you if you have more than 1,000 followers on Instagram or TikTok. Then you can join my app. You go on any app store, Google Play or the App Store, look for Kidfluence, not Kid Influence, Kidfluence. It'll pop up and you can create an influencer account. At the moment, it's totally free if you go on my website and sign up to my newsletter. Website address is kidfluencegroup.com and just sign up to the newsletter. You will get a code DM'd to you or emailed back, even emailed back, and that will give you free access to the app for a whole month. Check it out. I'm extremely proud and I hope you love it. Go on the website, it tells you more information and you can join the newsletter and come on board for free. kidfluencegroup.com. Do you know what? My shoulders just went down. This is like therapy, darlings. I'm not gonna lie. I feel better already just getting that off my chest. This podcast, when you know it's the right thing, like this in my heart feels good. And even if no one listens, there might be 0 people listening to this right now. But I don't care, actually. I mean, I care, obviously, but I don't care because I feel good. I feel like I've just got that off my chest. I feel like I've worked through the emotion. It's been like that in my household. And this is the first time I've actually probably articulated it all week. I haven't had a chance to really speak to anyone about it. All my friends are going through the same thing. And everybody's just in the thick of back to school. So that was probably the first time I've ever actually said what I'm feeling out loud. So if you are listening, thanks, because you're probably the first people that have heard me say it. And I appreciate you giving me the space to be able to say it. And we're going to stick to the school theme just because that is what my life is about at the moment. And when it comes to school, what is like the school mum's etiquette? Because I don't know. I keep seeing like memes and videos online of like different school mums. I don't know what type of school mum I want to be, or certainly what type of school mum I'm gonna be. You know how you've got like, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, please, I need info. You've got like the school mum that comes in like the workout gear, fully in the yoga, the adenolas and the Lululemons, and they're looking all prim and proper and sporty. And then you have the mum that comes in like full makeup, looking gorgeous, ready to, take to the stage, full amazing hair and fully done up. Then you have the kind of don't give a shit mum, turns up almost in pajamas, run ragged and just turn up. This is me. This is who I am. And then you have like the mum that stays in the car. She doesn't want to be friends with nobody, so she stays in the car. So, and I'm sure there's plenty of dads as well, but I'm just talking about the videos that I've seen that talking about the mums. So yeah, what is the etiquette? Because I want to make friends with school mums. I moved out of London a year and a half ago. So I really am motivated to try and meet new people and make a whole new circle of friends because most of my friends lived in London and it's not easy to see them now. Um, Especially as we'll be going to school and then their children go to school. So I really want to make new friends. Is it encouraged or is it a bit lame? I don't really know what you're supposed to do. I'm 42 years old and I want to make new friends. That blows my mind that I'm even having to say that because once you leave school, I feel like you make friends at work and you just naturally through your life make friends. And now I'm like not making any friends because I don't really go anywhere. So I'm not out clubbing. I'm not out like in the bathrooms with the drunk girlies, exchanging numbers. I've been invited to weddings because I've met a girl in the bathroom. We've got on. And she's been like, you have to come to my wedding. And I'm like, okay, didn't go. But when you're like, you know what bathroom chat for girls is like, it's the best. But I don't do that anymore. And I don't go to a place of work. I work for myself. I have my own business. Kidfluence, shout out. Again, shameless plug. So I don't really like have an office or place that I go to work. So it's really hard for me to like meet people. I go to the gym, but in the gym, I don't think a gym's a good place to really meet anyone because everyone's working out. I know I've got my earphones on, and if someone wanted to try and make friends with me, it's not on purpose. I just probably wouldn't even notice because I'm like in the zone. So I've been looking forward to hopefully making new mum friends at school. But I've been seeing loads of videos online being like, that is so lame. That's not the done thing. And I'm like, oh, I really hope that's not true because I really do want to make some new friends. And I feel like mum friends are the best friends because their child is the same age-ish as yours. And when you have a child, honestly, it just, everything changes. And it is that old cliche of all they talk about is their child. All they do around it, everything revolves around their child. Yeah, it does. I've completely lost myself. Old Nadia pre-Zeke is gone, dead, buried. She's out of here. I'm a whole new person with a whole new set of priorities. I'm a whole new person with a whole new like outlook on life. I'm a whole new version of myself. And it took a long time for me to come to terms with that. Well, it's been 4 years. And this is the first year I'm finally coming to terms with the fact that she's gone. I've had to like grieve old Nadia. She's gone. She's, I thank her and I have a lot of love for her, but she's gone. So that's been a tough process to try and heal through that. And then also now finding out who am I? Like, who the hell am I? Who the bloody hell am I? Because I don't know. This is like a whole new personality. I don't know who I am. and I'm trying to learn to know who I am. And I think we'll touch on that next week, because I'm not jumping on the bandwagon, I promise, but I will go into in more detail. But this last week, I found it so incredibly difficult that I actually messaged my doctor, or called my doctor, and I've got a referral to have an assessment for ADHD. They're also going to put me down for an autism assessment. They're going to do the survey and then see if I can go through, because I'm just like 99.9% convinced that I have some kind of neurodiversity in some kind of sense. And I never knew that before. And so we'll talk about that more next week, about exactly how I had the light bulb moment that, like, oh my gosh, yeah, because I had no clue until a couple of months ago when someone was like, my friend literally, Katie, was like, so what sensory issues have you got? And I was like, none. And she was like, oh, well, I've got this. And I was like, oh, yeah, me too. Oh, yeah, me too. Oh, yeah, me too. So I'll go through it more in detail next week. But yeah, I've referred myself for an assessment. It could be years. I may look at going private. I don't think I need a diagnosis because I feel like I've got it. But that was my point. This is part of going off on a tangent. I'm reading a book called Scattered Minds, and it's by an author called Gabor Mate. Excuse me if I've pronounced that wrong. But I think his name's Gabor Mate, or Gabor Mate, or Gabor Mate, and it's called Scattered Minds. Now, I think this book was written a really long time ago, but just the first few pages, and it was about like ADD, and I was like, sold, that's me, 100%. So I'm nearly halfway through, and I'm hoping to understand, if I've got it, the condition more. I can't actually remember why this is such mum brain. I can't actually understand why I started that conversation. There was a point, and it's totally gone out of my head. Can't remember. Anyway, well, on that note, yeah, we'll wrap up and we'll chat more about it next week. I'll hopefully have some more information next week, because I'll have done the survey by then, so I'll know what questions they're asking, and then I can talk about the things that I've really struggled with, and why this is coming to the forefront. And again, if you don't mind, probably use you as my little sounding board and my little therapy session to talk about and communicate all of these things for the very first time, because again, I haven't really spoken to anyone about this. So you really are like my Clueless Mum family, and I am extremely grateful for every single person who listens, tunes in, who subscribes, who gives me advice. DM me always on my Instagram at Lady Nadia Essex. I need advice, I need help. I'm trying to make new mum friends, but in the meantime, I need you guys as well, because you give such good advice, and I really miss doing these podcasts. I'm so pleased we're back, and fingers crossed, we're back for good. So please, please, please subscribe, share, leave a review, or whatever you need to do, and I'll see you again next week. I hope, if your children are starting school, that 1, you made it through COVID, you're an absolute diamond. 2, you have a smooth and blessed time in the transitional period. And if your child is going back to school, good luck to you too, my darlings. Alright, sending loads of love. I'll see you next week. Mwah.